touch anybody. If the person comes out of the tub and is on the
All right, we're getting a little excited here as the boaters approach. We're looking at about 2 minutes, an estimated time of arrival. You can see over the horizon there, the boaters starting to make their way into the inlet or the crevice, if you will, and absolutely an incredible race as they approach us here. The planes are circling ahead. It's a feeling of excitement as the fans are starting to gather around. Definitely a lot of anticipation as just an incredible race here today. A four-man race has been reported, and the chopper is circling up ahead, and he is starting to carve his way into the inlet. We have four tubs going neck and neck apparently, and we've been told that it is going to come down to a foot race, an absolute foot race. We're not sure of all the different racers, but we know that Richard Mellis is in the top four. He's from Vancouver. His boat, the Lordship Marin. Rather, that's his sponsor. The helicopter approaching now, and we are in for quite a finish as we get you all the coverage here from Kitts Beach over in Vancouver. This is the 30th running of the boat tub race, and here comes our first person to the line. It's boat 447. This is Richard Mellis. Richard Mellis is out of the wall. His leg's a little wobbly. As he tries to get his sea legs. We're with Richard Mellis of Vancouver as he runs up for the bell. Richard staggers as he hits the stand. The stand's a little rough. He's going for the bell. And there we have it, Richard Mellis of Vancouver, the winner of the 30th annual boat tub race. And here comes number 2.
447, unofficial, Richard Mellis.
A big run up here, staggering in the sand after all that time on the ocean. Absolutely famished as he hits the line.
Are all unofficial until the tub and engine are checked out. You can see the pup club now. It's picking up the tubs. They will be taken up here and weighed on the scales over here. And officially.
Where are they right now?
Tell me about it.
I don't know.
Start for everybody. Tell me about the start.
Oh, it was really good.
We expect another 2 right away.
My
There was
clock
going to be a real foot race here.
Burnt out right at the thing. I didn't know what time, so I was just counting on the start boat.
Sandbar, and
the slow part about it.
We haven't lost a few on the sandbar.
Got out there, Bill was a little bit ahead of me. Went to the
ago.
south side of entrance. Seems to be a bit of a shorter line. And then we sort of met up. Point Grey, and I followed the markers right in. He was on the outside, and
there's another one.
just closed the line on
They
him.
have to wiggle in and out.
It was awesome.
They have
It was
to
quite a
wiggle
battle
around
for 3 or 4 tubs, yourself being one of them.
Yeah, me and Bill and Chris, he's out there. I don't know.
A foot and a half off the water.
Get a little delirious off
It's hard to find out where you are.
The Fraser River. It gets a little bumpy, and just got to hang on.
Sandheads is always hard to tell, hard to
Looks
call.
like we got a couple
What did
more
you
coming
decide
in.
to do with it this year?
In here.
Well, blowing with a little bit of a northwest wind, just sort of surf them in there, and hopefully the wind was down coming in,
Remember,
coming out of Howe Sound, and just
until the
just go with it.
Was it a rough crossing this year, Richard?
It was fairly calm coming right across. It was quite nice, and oh, that's awesome.
I guess it's nice after 2 years ago. It looks like it will stand up.
Yeah, this one, just trying to, that was a disappointing year that year, and a lot of teamwork, and went back into it, and we just went out and just did what we had to do.
How many times have you done this?
This is my 5th year.
And where do you live? Sorry.
East Van. East Van, where it rocks, man.
So this is a win for East Van, Richard, and it must feel any words for the people at home.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to my mom
in the water, and
thank my sponsors. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Into some real water, real
thanks,
weather.
man.
Just off
Did you know you were close to a new record?
I knew it was going to be close, but I don't know.
Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen.
I think you missed by 1 or 2 minutes.
Oh, really?
3, 4, 3.
Next time.
Thanks a lot, Richard.
Thanks, man.
We missed it, so how was the race for you?
It was good. A little bumpy here and there.
Sorry, Ben. That's okay.
That's Ray Schlitz, ladies and gentlemen, from Nanaimo. Top 343.
Yeah. Over to the Tony Cross.
Here comes our next one in now.
This is Murray Azelli, boat 445. He's from Vancouver. Muriazelli coming in at 4th place. Muriazelli, his legs looking good. He stumbles there for a minute though. Muriazelli of Vancouver approaching the bell on the final run here. He looks strong, coming in 4th place.
4-4-5.
Which as usual, it chops up pretty bad.
Vancouver,
It's always hard on the
Murray
knees, but yeah, it was a close one.
I know at the start of the race there was some concern about yourself having a boat to go along with you, an escort boat. What happened? Was it last minute?
I didn't have an escort until about an hour before the race started, and I went down the ramp, and the Tubbing Society, I want to thank them, they didn't disqualify me, they let me have a free run, and I said, I'll get one somehow or another, and a fellow from Doman's Transport, if I can put that on the air, thank you.
Wait, what's with you and Mellis? You get a real battle going every year.
Yeah, Rich is a good contender, and we always run neck and neck usually, and he's a hard little guy to beat, but age is a thing, you know. I'm a little bit older than he is.
One last thing, we asked him the same questions about the sandheads and the way you call that. Do you go inside, outside as far as the sandheads is concerned, and what was your call?
This time I cut across. I didn't come in too close. I stayed out a little bit because we've been caught on the sandbar before.
We got a foot race right
And they
here.
warned us about it, so I thought,
We got a foot race coming.
to stay out in the deep a little bit. And my escort boat here, he brought me way out wide, and I thought then I'd do
Don't
it.
touch him, ladies and gentlemen.
I could see Rich on the inside of me. I thought, finish. That's all you can do, finish.
We'll see you next year.
Oh, no you won't.
Okay, Bill.
So, Bill, you're saying this is your last race?
This was it. This was my last chance at having a go at the big one. I'm going to have a go at the
That
little
was a
circuit
foot
ones,
race,
but
ladies and gentlemen.
this was my last chance at it. But I want to thank everybody for what they've done for me anyway.
People don't realize what a pounding you take when you're crossing on these races. It really is physically tough, isn't it?
Well, it is extremely tough. And
the
I guess I've
second
got
one
one
was Chris
advantage.
Glenn from
I'm the boss of my own
Portland.
company, so I can come in late Monday morning.
But it's not going to be an early Monday for you
It's
after
not
these.
at all. My knees are pretty shot at the moment, but they'll come around.
How long does it take you to recover from one of these races? Is it a couple of days, a week, or?
Good. If it's rough out there, I'd say a week. If you start losing skin off the knees and stuff like that, like Richard Mellis, he suffered for probably a good month with that. And you've got to be pretty well padded, as you can see, so, especially when you get older.
But this is the last one.
This is it, mate. Yeah, I'm getting too old for this, and this was my last shot at the big one, and that's it. I'm going to retire from the big
You
one.
took a heck of a run at it, didn't
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
Good for you.
Thanks, guys.
you? Okay. That's Bill Thornycroft. He's 2nd place in this year's great race, unofficially. We'll know
that was
officially
Craig
fairly
Bunch,
soon.
That one there, Craig Bunch from Ladner, 043. There's a little bit of
Blitz, and you see over
confusion,
there?
folks, because we can't see their numbers. They're in a state of shock as they run up here. And it just give us a second to find out who they are. At least they're here.
have a number?
Down and they're giving us a good race. Here comes the next tub right now.
Coming right at us, guys. Heads up.
Here comes the next tub.
This is Dale Banner. Dale Banner coming in. He's from Nanaimo. He's sponsored by Ray Cunningham Saturn, and he's taking off some of his clothing here as he tries and get prepared for the run up the beach. Not a lot of people behind him, and he has an injury on his leg. What a courageous effort here by Dale Banner of Nanaimo. He's giving it all he's got as he runs up, hops up the hill, trying to get his way to the bell. This is Dale Banner of Nanaimo, sponsored by Ray Cunningham Saturn. Dale Banner giving it a good run to the bell, and he's going to ring that, and he can be proud of his effort today.
Dale Beaumont. That was Dale Beaumont.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, there you see a live shot of Kitsilano Beach in Vancouver, and for the very first time ever, viewers in Nanaimo have a chance to watch what goes on in Vancouver. We saw an absolutely incredible finish, and just to recap, number 447, Richard Mellis, is the unofficial winner, and we have his time here. I'll get that for you in just a moment. Looks like 1:17:19. That is not a world record. The world record set in 1994 by Larry Vedder was 1:16:29. Again, not a world record, but he does get 50 points in the World Cup standings. That is certainly going to help him in his bid to try and get the big Daily Free Press Aggregate Points Championship. Number 2 this year, Bill Thornycroft. And at the last minute, as you heard, Doman's Transport stepped in to give him a escort boat 093. Now, Richard Mellis finished second in 95, Bill Thornycroft third in the 95 race, both racing in the modifieds. And what did you think of that finish, Bob Peterson? Obviously quite exciting.
Yes, it sure was, and it's always great to see, particularly these foot races up the beach, and I've seen them stagger and fall, and the third one come up and win, and it's really something to see. You can see a person here is coming up the beach now, and they're you know, obviously in better shape, and you should be in good shape for bathtub racing because you're in a cramped position all that way across. You take a terrible pounding, and then you're expected to get out and run up that beach and ring the bell. And as you can see, he's just come up the stage with Bill McGuire and John Rattan there looking after him as they come. And the girls are on the check side on the screen to your right. And it's a great place over on that Kitts Beach. It's hot as heck today. Someday, a couple of times it's been pouring rain and ice cold, but boy, it sure is a long way from that today.
Great live shot of Ray Schlitz. Let's go over to Vancouver and our crew standing by with an interview.
Hi, I'm here with Ray Schlitz, and Ray is the third place finisher in this great race. You were telling me you've run this race a few times before?
Yeah, this is my sixth go at it. Last year I finished fifth, and just looking, I think, third this year, so we're happy, really happy.
They're working now.
What was your crossing like?
It was mixed in the harbor, confused. It softened out. We went north, so it was pretty calm running across. And at Point Grey, the water started coming from every which way. You couldn't read the waves. It wasn't big waves, but it was lumpy and confused, mixed.
Now, did you go north to avoid the sandbars off the Spanish Bank?
Yeah, well, we thought because of the low tide we'd run north, but I think we went a little too far north. But the water was calm, and it made a good go, good crossing.
So it was quick up to Bowen Island, and then you sort of fought it all the way back in?
Yeah, just outside of Point Grey was mixed.
And so physically, how did it feel going? You look like you're in pretty good shape now.
Yeah, no, I no scars or cuts or anything this year, so it's good. Last year was tough.
Because it was so calm.
Did you change anything this year to make it easier on yourself?
For the first time.
No, I tried to lose my belly a little bit, but I don't know if that helps. But other than that, no. We're just going the big race every year, just for fun and competitively, and it's just a lot of fun.
So next year, first, second?
I hope so. Hope so.
Thanks a lot, Ray.
Thank you very much.
That's Ray Schlitz. He finished third in this year's great race. Of course, again, it's unofficially. We'll know officially shortly.
Shaw Cable would like to thank Overweighty Foods for sponsoring coverage of the 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub Race. Overweighty Foods, BC's very own food people. The producers of Shaw Cable's 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub coverage would like to thank Midland Waldwin for their support. Midland Waldwin sponsoring community programming on Shaw Cable. Pounders Dining is proud to be an official sponsor of this year's Bathtub Race telecast. Pounders Dining, proud supporters of community programming. BC Hydro is proud to sponsor Shaw Cable's coverage of the 1996 Bathtub Race. Louis the Lightning Bug reminds you to play safe around electricity. Shaw Cable would like to thank Ray Cunningham's Prestige Motor Cars for their support of community programming. Cellular telephone communication is proudly being provided by Island Cellular, your Cantel communications store. The producers of the 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub Race on Shaw Cable would like to thank Shell Canada for their support. Shell Canada, sponsoring community programming on Shaw Cable.
On the beach with Craig Bunch and his son Nicholas, who's having a great time right now with the juice containers. Craig, you finished fourth unofficially. Was it a good crossing this year?
It could have been a little rougher.
in the rough water a little faster than the other guys, but can't do nothing about the weather. So it was overall it was a clean race. No problems.
Were you concerned about the sandbanks off Spanish Banks?
I've done it 11 times, so I know where they are.
I guess that's the key, just you don't get in there and get stuck.
You can see the pylons and that. It's not a problem.
And was it rougher just coming in off of Spanish Banks? Did it pick up and chop?
It's rough around the first corner, and then it smooths out in the middle, and then around the Fraser River it gets rough again, and then calms out in here. So if we had a little more wind, we could have been up front first maybe. But.
So you were set up for a real fast run and light water?
I got a rough water propeller.
Yeah.
They got smooth water propellers.
Okay, well, congratulations, Craig, and I guess we'll see you again next year, won't we?
They might, yeah.
I guess it's a bad time to ask, isn't it?
Well, it's just like a 10-year reunion. I won it 10 years ago, so I thought I'd kind of pull the tub out for a go at it. But
record speed.
It's been a few years since I raced.
Coming in are
I don't know.
coming in very quickly.
Well, it's good to see you again, and I'm glad you had a really good finish.
Thanks.
And it looks like you made it across okay physically.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. Thanks.
Good work, Craig.
Okay.
That's Craig Bunch, unofficially 4th place in this year's great race.
Working his way up. The legs are cramping out on boat 337. He's trying to see if he can edge out his next competition, boat 066. Boat 337 is Rob Young, and Rob Young is going to make it. His legs giving way a bit there, but he makes it up the ramp, and he rings in, beating out the next competitor.
Darren Graves came in from Surrey first. These two people that raced together.
There's too many boats. There's too many boats to get the interview. There's too many boats to get an interview now.
Rob Young and Paul Johnson, they raced together and rang the bell together.
There you see a live shot of Kitsilano Beach. The Commodore is Bill McGuire, and he looks like he's having a lot of fun, lots of hectic activity in Vancouver. And here's what we have so far. Richard Mellis has won the Great Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub race. Still unofficial at this point. The time 1:17.19. Just a minute or so off Larry Vedder's record-setting time, 1:16.29, set back in '94. Richard Mellis finished second last year. He was disqualified 1 year, so this is a very important and a very special win for Richard Mellis. And as you saw in our interview with him, he's extremely happy. There you see another tub coming in. The helicopter hovering extremely low this year. It'll be great to see those shots when we put them in for the tape delay. Bill Thornycroft, a real good spirit. 093 is his tub number. He finished in 3rd place last year. Mellis and Thornycroft always seem to be close in these races, and his time last year was 1:38.42. That's for Thornycroft, and he was just moments behind Richard Mellis this year. Ray Schlitz is who we have in unofficially for 3rd place. He finished 5th last year. His time was 1:40.10. He took a more northerly route. He said it was very confused in the harbor in Nanaimo. Calm out at the middle portion of Georgia Strait, which is what we expected. Very lumpy, though, coming into Point Grey, so that certainly made for a very interesting finish. Let's take a look now at how some of the women have done, because it looks like we have our first female in. Last year's winner was Tanya Noshkin. She had her tub stolen, if you can believe that. One of 3 in the world. It's the special Johnson design. Well, she didn't get it back, so she couldn't get involved this year, but she is getting married. We would like to congratulate her on that. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. She won, as I said, in 1995. 1994, it was Twyla Lee Warnock who won, and the last tubber, or excuse me, Tracy Fagan was one who won 3 years in a row, 1983 to 85, the only person ever to do that. And we actually had a female winner of the overall winner 1 year, and that was Janice Dorman back in 1970, I believe it was, Bob. The women have been getting better in these races, and I believe 1 year soon we're going to see another female finish the race first.
Before I went down it for a moment, we
got 2 here.
Bob, it looks like Lori Mino of Coquitlam, tub number 020. Westbeck is her sponsor. She was the first female finisher. We're going to catch up with her in just a moment. So thanks again, Bob, for that. 1970, the year that a female was the first to finish the great race. And Bob Terrio was standing by with an interview at Kitsilano Beach.
Yeah, Eric, I'm here with, actually, Eric, I'm here with Lori Mino, and she's the first lady finish. How was it as a crossing, Lori?
Actually, it wasn't that rough compared to other years that I've done it.
How many years have you done?
I've only done this Nanaimo one about 3 times, but I have a partner. We take turns driving, so it was my turn. Yay! How did you get into this? I don't know. We seen one for sale when we were watching the bathtub races, and we bought it.
Rob Young. He came in and went through the bell so fast.
It wasn't too hard on you physically? It was a nice
oh yeah, it does. Takes a toll on you. I'll be bruised tomorrow and probably won't be able to walk, but that's okay.
Rob's from Nanaimo.
I'll be out here next year.
Have you finished each time you come across?
Not Nanaimo one. I've done other races like they have the Port Moody. I've done that before. I came in first in Port Moody a couple years ago.
Well, that's a great finish, and it sounds like you made it across pretty safe.
Yeah.
Did you have any problems with the sandbars or the low tide?
I had no problems. I knew exactly where I was going. I had a direction, and I went there.
I guess it's as simple as that. You get the execution down, and you just carry on.
You know where you're going, and that's where you go.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Laurie. That's Laurie Minnow, the first woman finish at Laurie Minnow, the first finisher, and we're going back over to Paul.
All right, we are here with Andrew. Andrew, describe us how things have been going so far as the boaters come through. A lot of them crashing in pretty hard here on the shore.
Yeah, well, they seem to come off the water pretty quickly. We've had a few disqualifications. Unfortunately, the first lady that came in, 020, she was unfortunately disqualified due to exceeding the boat length out of the water required for disqualification.
Overall, are you surprised at the number of finishers? We're getting a strong turnout as far as people coming in and ringing the bell today.
Oh yes, I think the water conditions are pretty good out there. The sea is not rough, and the race is pretty quick today. Due to calm conditions, I'd say, yeah, we're going to have a lot of tubbers finishing today.
Excellent. Well, we're going to make room for the next tubber. Andrew Setterfield, thank you for your time. We're going to go back upstairs and see what's happening as I trip over a boat.
Paul Johnson of the Johnson Tubbing family. In fact, Paul and his dad George were both in the race, this year's race, and you were telling me you hadn't seen your dad since about Entrance Island.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he went past me while I was looking for my escort, and then I caught up to him, and next thing I knew he wasn't there anymore, and that's what last I saw him.
Now, he was racing the modified tub, and you're in the stock tub.
Yeah, that's right.
That was tub 3.
And the differences between the two?
Mostly propellers. You know, stock is just that, stock propeller, and modified, you can run anything you want.
So if you were able to pass him in a stock tub, he was having a few problems, you think?
Yeah, quite possibly. Plus, I got a few pounds less than him.
I was going to say, or is it the pilot? There'll be a rivalry. There'll be discussions about that afterwards.
Well, I'm not going to start a family argument there.
So how was the crossing this year for you? Fairly smooth?
Oh, it was calm and boring. I was actually looking forward to a rough race all week. It's been nice and windy out there, and we got out there and nothing to do.
Craig Bunch was telling me he was expecting a rougher race too, and when it was so smooth, he didn't have the speed he thought he was going to have.
No, well, I knew I'd be a little bit slower in the rough, but I was counting on everyone else being slower too, and I like it when it's rough. My tub goes better. It makes it fun. I mean, I'll be honest, it was a little boring out there today. I saw a fish jump, and that was kind of exciting for me.
You look pretty relaxed, so I guess it's experience that keeps each crossing a little easier?
I think most of the time it's luck, but yeah, we'll say experience.
Back again next year?
We'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
Oh, you're going to be cagey.
I just never know.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Paul. It's Paul Johnson, and we're going back over to Eric in Nanaimo.
Excellent job in Vancouver. Thank you very much, Bob Terrio. Live shot of Kitsilano Beach, and there you see the back of Matt Stovall, our crazy cameraman down on the beach. And we heard there was a disqualification. Laurie Minnow, she landed on the beach with her tub motor out of the water. And Bob Peterson, let's talk a bit about why they have that rule.
Well, that went back quite a number of years when the tubbers would come roaring into the beach there in full throttle, and they would be halfway up the beach before they got out. It was very dangerous for the beach people working down there. It wasn't a fair race for the other tubbers coming in, and it was a safety reason that we disqualified it. Those props are razor sharp in a lot of cases, and there was too much danger of people getting cut with them. So we said, hey, listen, it's got to be, the tub must finish in the water. Now, some part of the tub must be in the water, and as you saw, there was another tub just before we went on air again that was way up the beach out of the water, and he would be disqualified as well.
Now, what are some of the other factors involved in disqualification at the finish of the race? We know coming into Kitsilano they have to go through the 2 Navy vessels. What about coming onto shore? Are there any other possible disqualifications?
Certainly is. One of them is the escort boat to enter the finish line chute. That would disqualify them. If they don't have a cowling left on their tub, that would disqualify them. If they don't have their bailers or paddles or wetsuit or life jacket on, and all those things, and helmet, those things are all causes for disqualification. And we've had to disqualify some of the top tubs. And I can remember some American tubs that came up way back in the early days of bathtubbing. They floated right up on top of the water. The tub was nowhere near would it sit down in the water, and we disqualified them. And they were just, we just couldn't have that. It's got to be run by the rules that we set out, not by what somebody's whim was of how to do it.
Thanks again, Bob Peterson of the Loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society, past Commodore. Usually you're over there in Kitsilano, but we appreciate you staying here with us in Nanaimo, and now we're heading back over to Kitsilano Beach, where Paul Boyd is standing by.
Down out into the crowd. I've got my sea legs back. No more tripping around. We're here with Kevin from Vancouver. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about how you've been enjoying yourself here today?
I'm fine.
And what do you think about the race so far? What have you been seeing?
A lot of bathtubs.
And overall, your impressions of the Marine Festival wrapping up here in Kitts Beach?
Pretty good.
All right. We've been speaking with Kevin out here in the crowd. Overall, the crowd's having a good time, cheering loud, enjoying the crashing and banging of the boat tubs, bathtubs, as they crash in here on Kitts Beach. We're going to, Kitts Beach rather, we're going to throw it back to you guys upstairs.
And our live shot again from Kitsilano Beach in Vancouver. A reminder, this is the first time that a television network of any size has ever attempted to cover this race live. You can see why. 36 miles across Georgia Strait. There you see a tubber having some problems getting out of the water. The sea legs are not really with them when they finish this race. They've been pounding on their knees for a while, and I remember last year it was Cooter Young and Richard Mellis. Both had really, really bad problems with their knees and bottom parts of their legs being scraped up, but this year a much better year for them. Let's recap again what has happened in the 1996 race. Tub number 447, still unofficial at this point. Richard Mellis, 25 years of age from Vancouver, finished second last year. He was disqualified 1 year. He is an extremely happy gentleman today. From the Lordship Marine crew, and that crew did very well today because in fourth place, still unofficial, Murray Iselli, also part of the Lordship Marine crew. Bill Thornycroft, his friends call him Billy, 43 years old, from Surrey. He is a machinist, and I guess he's from the New Zealand team, so unofficially we'll say that the Down Under folks are back in the race again, but he has been living in Vancouver for quite some time in Surrey. And from Nanaimo, our first Nanaimo tubber this year, unofficially in third place, it's tub 343, Ray Schlitz. He's finished very well in these races, and one of his best finishes ever this year in third place again. Murray Iselli fourth, and then Craig Bunch, the 1986 winner, seemed quite sad at the end. He wanted to try and repeat his win of 1986. It wasn't going to happen today, but still an excellent finish for him, unofficially fifth. Our first female came in but was disqualified, Lori Mino. She landed up on the beach, and well, that just isn't acceptable because the motor was out of the water. And again, Tracy Fagan, if you remember way back, 1983 to 85, the only female to win 3 years back to back. And our finisher last year, first for the female, was Tanya Noshkin. She would have been back in this year had her tub not been stolen. And Bob Peterson, this probably for you is kind of a sad moment. Usually you're in Vancouver with all the festivities, but what are your thoughts right now on the race so far?
Well, it looks like it's been great. I'm pleased with the number of tubs that have finished so far, and it looks like the majority of them will get to Vancouver. We go back to the real bad year. I think it was '89. It was so rough when we only had 5 tubs that finished out of a pack of about 57 or something that started. So that southeaster was just deadly to them. But this water has been real good. The tubs are better designed, and pilots are more skilled, it seems, and it's just better racing all the way around.
Bob Peterson here in the studio. I'm Eric Thompson, and we're going to send you back now to Vancouver, where Bob Terrio is standing by.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Eric. We're back here on the beach, and I'm with Clay Wilcox, another Nanaimo tubber. And just to show you here, Clay had a helmet with a shark's fin, and you can see shark's fins don't last very long in bathtubs, I guess. It's just pulled right off. So, Clay, what kind of crossing was it for you?
It was pretty smooth, other than we had a little technical difficulties with our motor being a little high, but we took a gamble and we lost on it. So
in smoother water, that would have been a better setup?
Yeah, if it would have been a little smoother. Coming out of the harbor from Nanaimo, we got behind there, and we had a bungee cord hook up on us halfway across, so we had to stop and fix that too.
I guess that's kind of a weird feeling. You're out there in a small boat and suddenly, and that's...
Yeah, it was pretty spooky. Everybody bailed into the water. It was real great. Everybody helpful and really good. We had 3 escort boats. I'd like to thank those guys for coming out. They were really helpful. It's great.
So 3 escort boats, do you think you're going to need that much help, or you just had lots of support?
They're just good buddies and they want to be in there. They're there for the fun of it. And I'd also like to thank Rutherford Auto Glass and Trim for putting this together for me. They did a really good job. Built me a whole new boat for this year so we could successfully get to this side, which we accomplished. And next year I'm sure we'll do much better.
And this is your second year doing this?
Yeah, my second year. Last year we sunk twice on the way over, so we broke the transom off the boat, but we had a good time doing it.
Must have been a good feeling to ring the bell.
Yeah, it was. It was great. It was nice to see the harbor, actually, to see the beach. Trying to find your way in here is kind of a zoo, but it's rough once you get around Point Grey there, but it smooths out once you get in. It's pretty spooky.
Okay, thanks, Clay. Congratulations on a good finish. And I'll go back over to Paul with John Rattan.
Well, thanks. Right now, joining me is John Rattan. He's a past Commodore here with the loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society. First of all, your impressions on the day.
Well, we're very happy with the day. The weather is ideal, light overcast and light winds, warm temperatures, and relatively calm seas, and this is ideal bathtubing weather.
Now, an issue that we have been talking about off camera and that we wanted to mention is one of our co-hosts, Bob, is usually a little bit more active in the actual race itself as far as an organizational process, but this year he's come over with Shaw Cable to help with the promotional aspect. How's that affected everyone, and what are your thoughts on Bob over here with us at Shaw Cable?
Well, we really miss him. You know, I think we're sort of mixed up because we're very excited with the concept of having the race live by Shaw and also the finish line both. Bob Peterson was the guy, the ideal candidate to do the job. He's got the experience, he's got the background and knowledge, but I tell you, we miss him here, and I think the city of Vancouver misses him too.
Well, it's a beautiful day here at Kitts Beach. Pretty good turnout crowd-wise. How does this compare to past years?
Well, it's about the same as past years. We're always struggling to try to think of new ideas to enhance the finish line. Warm weather is obviously a desirable thing, and so hopefully we can continue to build on this and get larger crowds every year.
Well, thanks for joining us, and continued success in years to come. We're going to throw it back to Bob.
We have right behind.
Thanks,
so
Paul.
Whoever
Thanks, Paul.
hits the
I'm
beach
here
and gets
with,
up to ring the bell
Keith
first
from
is
Coast
it.
First Aid. And
They're
Keith,
working
you're
on it.
putting together the
They're
first
working
aid
on
this
it.
year?
We're volunteering for the first aid here for the bathtubs.
Nobody can
This
help
is the second year I've done it here. So far this year it's been pretty easy. A lot of the guys are complaining it's been a boring race. It's kind of flat. A few guys have had the bumps and bruises.
This is George Johnson coming up the beach now.
And we've got one who's complaining. He's feeling a little bit old today, and we're sort of taking a little special
Nanaimo?
care with him. And he's complaining of knee problems and a little shortness of breath.
Expect to see any special types or any particular types of injuries? Are there bathtubing injuries?
Well, we were actually watching the Shaw Cable footage of the last 30 years, and we've sort of been watching it. The ankles are the one thing we got to look for. These guys are getting out, they don't have the circulation in their legs yet, and they're just bailing out of the bathtubs, and they're hitting the sand, and the ankles aren't there for them. And the other thing is, today's just a beautiful day, and we're seeing a lot of the heat problems, and they've got the thick Mustang jackets on, so that's really something to deal with today.
So do you guys have a truck over here with you, or you just deal with people as they come up to you?
Well, usually we have the truck over here, but there's quite a few forest fires going on in the interior BC, so with all the ambulances up there. Otherwise, any major problems we send to the BC Ambulance Service, and we're just sort of the intermediate care to look after them. We've got the military over there that's willing to lend a hand.
That was Kimberly Smith
Well,
from
I know the
Bremerton,
races
Washington.
really appreciate you guys being here.
323. Let's give her a big hand.
On this side. Thanks again for
You made it across the briny.
Okay, we're heading back over to Eric in Nanaimo.
Thank you very much, Bob. Excellent work over there. As you may have just heard, Kimberly Smith from Bremerton, Washington, tub 323 is in. We don't know yet if she is the first female finisher. We'll have that information for you. Again, we're staying on the air live for another 30 minutes or so. We are now about 108 minutes into this race, and we have our first place unofficially set at just over about 117, I believe it was. It was Richard Mellis, 25 of Vancouver, and second place Bill Thornycroft. Now, let's talk for just a moment about the World Cup standings. 4 races leading up to this big race. They get 50 points if they finish first, so Richard Mellis now leads with 250 points. If he finishes second or better in each of the 4 races, he cannot be caught. Well, today he finished first, so it looks like he has a chance to win the big trophy. No prize money involved in that, but a lot of glory, and a lot of glory for winning the big Nanaimo race. And we also have a quick reminder for you about the next upcoming races. If you are a bathtub enthusiast, no doubt you are if you're watching today, we invite you to drop by in person down to Point Roberts, Washington on August the 4th for a 2 p.m. start. That's the 6th of 8 races in the World Cup circuit. Then August 17th, if you still haven't got your fill of bathtubing, Powell River starts at 1 o'clock, and then Bremerton, Washington, where Kimberly Smith is from, they have their race on September the 1st. Should be a lot of fun. A 1 p.m. start for that one. Kimberly Smith is with the O'Brien's racing team. As I said, she is now in. We don't know yet if she is the first female to finish. We'll find that for you shortly. Her hobbies include snowmobiling and mountain biking, so she is fairly active. Now we're just looking for the complete finishing list here. We'll have that information shortly, and also looking for our first place time. We'll have that as I shuffle through my papers here. There it is. I'm looking for all my notes, and I have the time of 1:17:19. That is our time for Richard Mellis. So again, the record was set back in 1994 by Larry Vedder, 1:16:29. So pretty close for Richard Mellis, but again, he is extremely happy to have won this race. And I should also mention that Bill Thornycroft gets some points for the finish second. He gets 48 points for that, but he doesn't have a chance to win. We have Paul Boyd standing by over at Kitsilano Beach in Vancouver.
Well, thanks, Eric. Joining me now is Deputy Mayor of Vancouver, Nancy Chaverio. Nancy, first of all, thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
No problem.
Let's start off by maybe touching base on the role of Vancouver in this whole bathtub race thing.
Well, you know, there's always those official things. We have to approve special events that take place that have lots of people around, so every year we approve the bathtub race. I think it would happen without our approval as well,
but nonetheless, the official approval is there. As far as promotional aspects, probably not a lot, but just giving the approval of coming here, definitely important. What do you think about the turnout? Kitsilano Beach, obviously a popular turnout, but getting a good crowd out here to cheer on the boat tubbers, the bathtub racers, definitely important.
Yeah, this is the in place in Vancouver, and so it's nice to have this kind of activity. It gives people something to do, and a few people that haven't been here before show up and discover the beach, and it's good.
Let's get it on a personal level. How do you enjoy it?
I love it. I mean, it's a beautiful sunny day. This is the most wonderful place there could be, other than Nanaimo, of course. and it's a fun event, and you get to see people having fun instead of complaining at a city council meeting.
There you have it, straight from the mouth of Deputy Mayor Nancy Chaverio. Great to have you with us. Thank you again.
Thank you much.
And we're going to throw things back to Bob now. He has another special guest with him.
I'm here with George
After that.
Johnson, who's the senior half of the Johnson clan that is running in this year's race. George, how was the crossing this year?
Pretty good. Yeah, it wasn't really that rough. A little sloppy just out here. It always seems to be sloppy just before the shoot. I don't know whether they churn it up. Maybe they got some subs out there.
So Paul said we saw you about Entrance Island and past you coming across. Were you having problems with the tub?
Yeah, we had cooling problems. So we had our granddaughter in the water holding the bow, and I'm trying to clear the cooling tube. So.
Now, is that the granddaughter that we thought might be in the race?
You might have thought that she was going to be in the race. What did Paul come in? Because his tub is way up here.
Yeah, Paul did pretty good, actually. We already talked to him. So it was almost 3 generations of the Johnson clan.
Oh, there's 3 generations here, plus in-laws, plus the skipper. He's sort of, well, his kid is our grandchild by adoption.
So it's a real family thing for you guys.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this year's race? It sounds like it's been a pretty good event here.
It was good. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the fireworks. That was the best we ever had. But,
so next year again?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Maybe some new tubs.
Okay, you're going back to Nanaimo. Do you have any words for anybody back there? I guess everybody's over here, aren't they?
A lot of them still back there. And
the world's largest bathtub is on its way. It'll be in about 15 minutes. It's just on the horizon now.
I'd just like to thank all the support crew back there. You know, without them, we couldn't have it. And all those Navy boys out there and all the communications. We really appreciate those.
Okay.
I don't think anybody realizes how big it is.
No, it's a big event, isn't it? Yeah. Congratulations again, George.
Thanks for covering it for us.
No problem. Okay, that's George Johnson. He made it across.
Here comes our next
we'll go back over to Paul Boyd.
Do you ever get the urge to go out and do anything like this?
Yeah.
All right, we are here now with Sergeant Steve Kern. Sergeant Kern, thank you for joining us. First of all, what's your position here at Kits Beach? You look all official looking now.
Well, we actually look hot is what's going on here. We're part of the safety network to make sure that all the tubbers that start in Nanaimo end up over here in the Vancouver side.
Well, you have a big undertaking beneath you. You've done a great job again this year. Can you review maybe all the different people who are involved in making this success and who's under your jurisdiction?
There's quite a few people. We've got the Canadian Forces and the Canadian Coast Guard, the RCMP, the Canadian Marine Rescue Association, the American Navy, the Vancouver Police Marine Squad, the Ports Canada Police, and the Ports Canada marine vessels out there, as well as 22 other volunteer vessels on the water, and each bathtub is supposed to have its own escort boat with communications to the Coast Guard and the agencies going across.
Now let's review your role. Worst case scenario, something were to go wrong, how does the safety plan of action go into effect?
We assist in the coordination of evacuating the tubber out of the water and getting them to safety. That's why each one has its own safety boat, and then they would be transferred possibly from the safety boat to one of the military or Coast Guard vessels where medical attention might be rendered or the person would be evacuated.
Well, it sounds like you have things well under control. Let's take a look at a personal level. You've been involved with this several years now. Explain your role over the past few years.
Well, about 8 years, and it's fun. We like coming out and doing the job and helping it be a safe event. And you know, Vancouver weather, you know, this is one of the better years. We've had a few wet years, but it's still fun coming out and watching the people try and get across.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of everyone involved, thank you once again for your involvement and for all the safety that you've provided, and continued success, and thanks for joining us. Sergeant Steve Kern here with me, and we're going to throw it back to Bob.
Here comes our next.
Thanks
our
a lot,
tub's
Paul.
coming in right
I'm
now.
here with George Wainboard from the Parks Board, and every year,
looks
George,
like
you guys
there's a
are
little
out
void
here
for a while.
setting
We're
this up in
probably
Vancouver.
within 10 tubs of having
Great
everybody
job.
in.
Well, it's a
We'll
lot
have
of
a little
fun,
bit of
you know. There's
music,
no money
right
in it
after
for
the
anybody,
tub
and
comes
it's just a happening. We all get together and arrange it, and it's such a beautiful day here that we can't complain about the weather. It's been beautiful.
How many people does it take to put this together over here?
Well, I started at 6 this morning, and it started at 7. About 18 people came at 7, and then we go from there. But they're all volunteers.
Halfway mark.
So it's a lot of fun.
And
So
you've done
that's
this
the
now
last
for
tub.
30 years,
And
at
you
least
just
with the
passed the
Sea
halfway
Festival,
mark.
but 29 years here at the finish line.
I hope
That's
he's got
right.
a big
I was the
set of
first one that started with the finish line, and I was a park commissioner at the time. I've been a park commissioner for 33 years, and so I was involved getting the park
Here
and
comes our next tub
making
in,
sure that
folks.
the sand's cleaned and so on, you know. And being a park commissioner, it helps. Yeah.
A little bit of pull there.
Yeah.
Well, I know everybody with the race really appreciates the work you guys do over here. You do
We
a
seem to
first-class
have a-
job, and again, you've done it one more time.
Well,
Bit of a
thank you very
problem
much.
there.
Now, do you have anything to do with ordering the weather?
Nobody can touch
The which?
The weather?
a tub.
No.
Nobody can touch
No,
a tub.
I sure haven't. I'd like to.
Yeah, I guess. Not quite that much pull.
But we have beautiful weather over here, and the odd time it rains, but we put up with it.
Okay, and we'll head out to a break right now, I
Somebody
guess,
said
back
being
at
interviewed.
Nanaimo.
I don't know.
Thank you very much, Bob Terrio in Vancouver. Just a recap here for the 30th annual Great Race. Richard Mellis's time, 1:17.19. Still unofficial at this point, but good so far for first place. Bill Thornycroft, Ray Schlitz, Murray Aselli, and Craig Bunch taking up 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. We are going to take a short break for our sponsorship mention, and then we will continue with live coverage from Kitsilano Beach here on Shaw Cable.
Shaw Cable would like to thank Overweighty Foods for sponsoring coverage of the 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub Race. Overweighty Foods, BC's very own food people. The producers of Shaw Cable's 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub coverage would like to thank Midland Waldwin for their support. Midland Waldwin sponsoring community programming on Shaw Cable. Pounders Dining is proud to be an official sponsor of this year's Bathtub Race telecast. Pounders Dining, proud supporters of community programming. BC Hydro is proud to sponsor Shaw Cable's coverage of the 1996 Bathtub Race. Louis the Lightning Bug reminds you to play safe around electricity. Shaw Cable would like to thank Ray Cunningham's Prestige Motor Cars for their support of community programming. Cellular telephone communication is proudly being provided by Island Cellular, your Cantel communications store. The producers of the 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub Race on Shaw Cable would like to thank Shell Canada for their support. Shell Canada, sponsoring community programming on Shaw Cable.
Eric Thompson back at the studio. There you see our live shot of Kitsilano Beach. At 2:30 this afternoon, they'll be having the ceremonies for the trophy presentation. If you've ever wondered why people enter the Great Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub Race, it certainly isn't for money, because there is none. In fact, most tubbers get involved for the glory and for a chance to have their name engraved in history on one of 10 bathtub trophies. Recently, I spoke to Margaret Johnson of the Loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society to find out the history behind a few of the trophies awarded following the great race. Margaret, let's talk about the first place trophy. It's been renamed the Frank Name Memorial Trophy. Is that the original first place trophy?
It is the original first place trophy, but it originally was sponsored by somebody else. But when Frank Nape passed away, the Bathtub Society decided to name it in his honor.
Now this trophy is pretty big. Is this going to be like the Stanley Cup? Do you think it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger at the bottom end?
We hope so. We never anticipated we'd be still going for 30 years.
What happens to that trophy when the first place finisher gets it? Do they get to take it home?
No, they usually get to hold it and have their picture taken with it. And then we bring it back and put it in the showcase at Harbour Park.
The second place trophy, the Subaru trophy, is in memory of Frank Anzik. Who was Frank Anzik?
Frank Anzik was the owner of Central Datsun Car Sales, which is now Harbour City Subaru. He sponsored the trophy at first, and now his daughter, Gail Anzik, carries on the tradition.
And the Loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society's Best Sportsmanship Trophy. Three-time winner there is Mike Menzies. How would someone like Mike pick that trophy up? What would classify them to win the trophy?
Mike was a chap that raced for a number of years and was on crutches, and he would race across to the finish line. Somebody would be at the finish line with his crutches, and he would make his own way up the beach.
The trophy for the First Lady, I see in 1993 there was no winner. A couple of repeat winners for that trophy. Tracy Fagan won it 3 years, 83, 84, and 85. And the Dormans also won the award a few times, Janice and Darlene. Now the NTG Silver Plunger Award. The Nanaimo Theatre Group has been involved in bathtubbing for a long time and sponsoring this award. How does that one work?
I understand they've sponsored that one right from the very first race, and that is for the first tubber to sink after they cross the finish line. The start line.
And some people, or one person anyway, I heard you say, wasn't in a big rush to collect the trophy. Is that right?
That's right. Sometimes we've had trouble delivering that trophy.
Now, same situation here. They don't actually get to keep the trophy, but they get something even better that all of us would probably like to have. What is that?
They get a silver plunger with a bathtub on top.
The Glenn Galloway Memorial Trophy was initially called the First Place B Division Trophy, but you're now calling it Stock. Why was the Stock class created?
It was created so as the backyard tubber could get back into the race to make it less expensive for people. They could take a stock motor out of the box and run. They didn't have to buy special propellers, which can run from $600 to $1,000 each.
Okay, the Free Press World Cup Aggregate Championship. Now, for tubbers to win that trophy is a pretty big deal because it's the overall bathtubbing championship, but still the big prize would have to be the Nanaimo to Vancouver race.
The tubbers still think of the Nanaimo to Vancouver race as the biggest challenge.
You're watching Bathtub 96. Huh?
I'm back here on the beach with not bathtub winners, but winners of a different sort. Miss Mermaid Queen, Nanaimo Mermaid Queen Dixie, and Princess Allison, and Friendship Mermaid Noelle. So you guys have really been thrown into this. This is like your first week on the job, isn't it?
Our first event that we get to go to.
Has it been fun?
Oh yeah.
The 30th annual bathtub, wow.
So as a princess, do you see all the pressure on Dixie here, Noah, or Allison, or?
Yeah, I do, because she's got a big job, and I think everyone has a big job, but it's fun. That's the main thing.
So what sort of things have you done so far this week?
We've got to wander downtown Nanaimo and just join in the events and stuff, which was great.
Fly across in the seaplane today?
Oh no, we didn't. We got to go in the Navy boat.
Okay. Those guys treated you well, though, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they were great.
And Miss Friendship, what does Miss Friendship do?
The same thing the other two girls do. I was Miss Friendship because I was voted in by the girls, not by the judges, so it's a great honor, and we've just been having lots of fun this week. We do the same things they do.
Okay, thanks a lot, you guys. You're doing a great job, and good luck in the next year.
Bye, thank you.
Okay, we'll head over to Paul Boyd with some of the people that are just hanging out watching all this madness.
All right, we've gone into the crowd. We're seeing what's happening from a fan perspective. With me is Cheryl and Paula. Cheryl from Port Moody, Paula from Port Coquitlam. Let's start off with you, Cheryl. What do you think of the day so far? Beautiful weather. Can't really complain, I guess.
Can't ask for much more than this.
This is your first year out here. Describe the experience.
Well, I think that the crowds are smaller than usual, what I've been hearing, but there's lots of cheering going on, so that's good.
Any particular favorite of yours as they came in? Did you see them crashing at the bottom there?
Yeah, there were a couple really speedy ones coming in there. It was exciting.
Good stuff. Let's turn over to Paula. How could I forget Paula? Paula, let's talk about you. What is your experience here at the Bathtub Fest so far?
Well, it's pretty laid-back atmosphere. It's quite enjoyable sitting out here in the sun. I like it when they land on the beach in a big roar and fly out of the boat and race up. It's nicer when a couple of them land close together, so it's fun.
Ooh, the daring mind there. I agree. It's pretty exciting when you get the close crashes here. Now, you look like you're no stranger to the sun as far as your tan's concerned. Have you been out to the bathtub races often?
No, actually, I've only ever watched them on TV, on the news. My mom and dad live out here in Kitts Point, and we just came down for the day. My tan's from gardening.
Excellent. There you go. Well, more excitement on the way. Don't touch that dial. We're having more coverage from Kitts Beach here in Vancouver.
Our thanks to Paul Boyd from Port Alberni and Bob Terrio, the acting program manager here at Shaw Cable. There you see the standings. Richard Mellis, an incredibly happy guy today. He's, well, he's not a sore loser, but he certainly doesn't like to finish second because he's done it enough. It's his turn this year. In the modified class, Richard Mellis unofficially is our winner, and again the time 1:17:19, just under a minute off the world record set in '94 by Larry Vedder. Bill Thornycroft, second place. Not bad for a guy who up till, I guess, just moments before the race, probably just under an hour before the race began, didn't have an escort boat. There you see the rest of the standings, Slitch, Selly, and Bunch. And Bob Peterson here in the studio with us. What was the case with Bill Thornycroft? There was a chance that he could get disqualified because he didn't have an escort boat, but he was at the safety meeting and tried his best. And how did that transpire?
Well, that's a fact. If they can't run unless they have an escort boat, and some have done it. Mine in the past, they sneaked out, and we haven't seen them, and we never caught up to them until they got into Vancouver. Where's your escort boat? Well, it broke down. Where did it break down? Well, it might have broke down on the Nanaimo side, and we finished ourselves, or we got in behind somebody else. And in some cases, they do lose their escort boat, and somebody does escort them in, and that's acceptable, providing that the escort people talk to the finish line people and so on. And of course, you can't award any trophies until all these factors are covered. They have to, first of all, their engine has to start, and it has to come under the specifications for engine. It has to be the same one that was tested in Nanaimo and passed, and it has to be still sealed and so on. And that all these things have to be taken into consideration before the person is actually declared the winner or whatever position they finish in.
There you see on the right and left at the top of the screen two large Navy boats. That's the U.S. and Canadian boats, and the tubbers have to go through those two Navy boats en route to Kitsilano Beach if they want to win, and there are a number of different factors that could disqualify them. How does the Loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society monitor everything from start to finish, Bob? They must have several different locations.
Well, yes, we do. We have safety helicopters that run with them. We have observers on other boats. The Navy are, both the U.S. and Canadian Navies are very deeply involved in the safety. They know what's happening out there. They can tell us pretty well how it goes. And you know, one way or another, we do find out really how that tubber crossed and whether he was doing the right thing and wasn't riding in wakes of other vessels, and got up to the finish line on his own and rang the bell. It's interesting to think of the size of the tubs now. Way back when we started this nonsense, I remember that we had to load the bathtubs on the CP Transport trailers in those times, and now it's Interlink Transport who supply us with a bathtub trailer, a trailer to return the bathtubs back here to Nanaimo. And those darn things were so waterlogged that it took about 7 or 8 of us to try and pick them up and get them into the trailer. But now, of course, with the modern technology and materials that they're using, the things weigh pretty well the same as they did when they started, with the exception of maybe a gallon of water here or there.
And Bob Peterson of the Loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society told me earlier that this is one of the largest peacetime operations for the Navy. And you know, I've always been wondering about this for a couple of years. What happened to Erica M? We're going to find out because Paul Boyd has her standing by at Kitsilano Beach in Vancouver.
Oh, really? Okay. We coming in? All right, we're back up top here as things continue to wrap up at Kit's Beach, and we're with Erica M of Much Music fame, but now she's moving on to bigger and better things. I think she'd, well, we'll let her say what she wants to say. You're with the Discovery Channel up here right now. Describe what you're doing. You're on assignment. Must be nice working on the tan on assignment.
That's right. The tan is very important when you work at the Discovery Channel. I'm hosting a show called Power Play. It's our 2nd season, and it's about extreme forms of leisure. And when we heard about bathtubs that race, we had to come from Toronto and cover the event. So that's what we're doing. We came in yesterday and we leave tomorrow.
So what are your impressions of the West Coast? You're no stranger to the coast. You've been out here before, but must like the break from Toronto once in a while.
Well, every time I come here, I wonder why I don't live here. It's so beautiful and everyone's so nice and all the guys are so cute.
Well, there you have it. Erica M, the inside line on what's happening up here. Thanks for joining us and continued success.
Thank you very much, Paul.
All right, we're going to throw it over to Bob. More action here at Kit's Beach.
Okay, Paul, there's been a little bit of controversy here right now. What we've ended up have happened is that I guess some of the tubs, when they come in out of the water, they're supposed to leave the tub in the water, not run it up on the beach. The engines cannot be running. They have to have a kill switch, and there's a question on some of the tubs whether the engine had been killed before they came in. So the official standings are unofficial. Sounds like we have something coming right through here.
They will be out in a moment. But let's give a big hand to Toledo.
They're just thanking people, so I guess we don't have any official results yet. I'll bring Paul over here, and we'll do a wrap-up at this point.
Every year they come out and put their
wow, what can I say about wow? Just an incredible afternoon. How have you been enjoying yourself?
It's been a gap. I'm losing my voice.
Oh, but look at this guy, dedicated. Yeah. Now, I got to ask you, before we get into the whole wrap-up here, do we have a second for a quick comment here, Bob? Normally, you're over there in Nanaimo starting off, then come over here for the wrap-up. What's it been like working here with Shaw Cable? A little bit different, the pros, the cons. How have you been enjoying it?
Well, it's live TV, and that's always a lot of fun, but a lot of things happen that you don't expect, and I'd just like to compliment the whole crew that worked over here, because this is not an easy thing to do, and they've just done a super job, and it's really nice to work with guys that are so good at what they do, and that's everybody. It's really been fun.
Definitely.
And
so things starting to wrap up. Do we have the official summary, or is Eric's handling that from back home, I guess?
Well, they keep giving announcements and saying that they're going to come up with an official summary. As I said before, there's some question about the way people ran up on the beach. I think probably in the next hour or two we'll start to get those official results. If you're watching repeats, I'm sure you'll be seeing the official results. But for now, I think we'll throw it back over to Eric and take it from there, and we'll say bye from Kit's Beach.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Paul and Bob, and of course to Bob Peterson here in the studio. A final word in just a moment. I forgot to mention earlier, John Rabanuk was the first place finisher in the Sabat Challenge. That's the annual sailboat. Well, it's the first sailboat challenge. They hope to make it an annual event, and we were going to get the results to you, and now we have. Again, Richard Mellis, unofficially the winner of the 1996 World Championship bathtub race, and it looks as though there could be some controversy, but again, for our tape delays, we'll have all the information for you. We certainly would like to thank all of the crew and everyone that worked on this. Bill Thornycroft, there you see, second place. All 5 top tubs so far as we know, if that's the standings as they remain, all from the modified class. Ray Schlitz of Nanaimo, the top Nanaimo finisher. And Bob Peterson, a couple of final thoughts from you.
Well, it looks like it's been another successful and saga of raw courage and true bathtub seamanship, as the late Frank Ney used to say. And on a Sunday afternoon in July, it proves once again that people prefer corn to culture, and we always think that that's a great line, and Frank was always great at coming up with great lines. Bathtub racing has been a marvelous success story for the city of Nanaimo, and I only hope that more people would come to the assistance of the Bathtub Society. We desperately need volunteers and desperately need finances to carry out this magnificent program in the years to come.
We are going to wrap things up right now from here in Nanaimo and from Kitsilano Beach. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors who helped make this broadcast possible. Thanks to Bob Peterson, Bob Terrio, Paul Boyd, and all of our behind-the-scenes technical crew. Really long month of work leading up to this, and we hope that next year we can try it all again, but we'll update you on that on other programs. But that wraps up our 30th annual presentation, the 30th annual presentation of the Bathtub Race here on Shaw Cable. For everyone at Shaw Cable, I'm Eric Thompson.
Shaw Cable would like to thank Overweighty Foods for sponsoring coverage of the 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub Race. Overweighty Foods, BC's very own food people. The producers of Shaw Cable's 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub coverage would like to thank Midland Walwyn for their support. Midland Walwyn sponsoring community programming on Shaw Cable. Pounders Dining is proud to be an official sponsor of this year's Bathtub Race telecast. Pounders Dining, proud supporters of community programming. BC Hydro is proud to sponsor Shaw Cable's coverage of the 1996 Bathtub Race. Louis the Lightning Bug reminds you to play safe around electricity. Shaw Cable would like to thank Ray Cunningham's Prestige Motor Cars for their support of community programming. Cellular telephone communication is proudly being provided by Island Cellular, your Cantel communications store. The producers of the 1996 Nanaimo to Vancouver Bathtub race on Shaw Cable would like to thank Shell Canada for their support. Shell Canada, sponsoring community programming on Shaw Cable.